Welcome to the MVP Show. We're heading over to Europe today to start a conversation with Mr. Marco Farina, a new MVP and founder and CEO of a company, Logico, specializing in dynamics when it comes to AI as well as other kind of leading technologies. He's Italian, but lives in Switzerland, and it's going to be a great conversation. Just note, there's a bit of echo on this recording. I'm sorry about that, and I couldn't kind of fix it as good as I would like. If you have any questions that you want me to ask the various MVPs that I have on the show, please message me on either LinkedIn or Twitter. Full show notes can be found at nz365guy.com/44. Now let's get on with the show. Hey Marco, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Mate, it's good to have you on here. You're our only MVP from Switzerland, is that right?
No, I'm not the only one, but we are just few in Switzerland, and it's good for me. Consider that I'm from Italy because I traveled to Switzerland more or less 8 years ago, so I should be an Italian MVP, but immigrating in Switzerland now.
Right, okay, so that's what I was trying to work out, because your education was all in Milan, is that right?
Yeah, it's in Milano, from Politecnico di Milano for computer science, and then later an MBA as well. Yeah.
Right. So I take it then you're a native Italian speaker rather than one of the, is there 3 Swiss languages, is that right?
Yes. For me, Dutch is very hard to understand. Better is French for sure, and Italian is my native language. So, but in Ticino where I live, most of people speak Italian. So it's like to be in Italy for me. Just I'm very close to the border, just 10 kilometers. So for me, it's like Italy here.
Right. So that's what I found interesting. When I looked up your location on the map, last year I was in Lake Como, and you're pretty close to Lake Como, right?
Yeah, consider that from my home, from the terrace of my home, I can see Como Lake. And this is very strange because I'm in Switzerland, but I'm lucky about it.
Yeah. We stayed in Bellagio on the lake, and man, it's one
amazing.
of my favorite places.
Yeah. I can take a boat from, just 5 kilometers away from my home, and I can take the boat, and 10 minutes I can be in Bellagio. That is amazing.
Yeah, so true. Incredible. So you're a recent MVP. I think you've been an MVP about 2 years. Tell us a bit about how you ended up becoming an MVP, and what was your journey, and what's your focus with dynamics?
Yes, the story of MVP started long years ago when I was studying computer science in Politecnico, and during my study, all professors asked us to go study about Java, not .NET, and .NET was the beginning, version 1.0, and I was introduced to .NET by my mentor and tutor for a thesis, and I started to study .NET and Microsoft environment and so on, and I was very attracted by MVP at this time because they were the only people able to answer to my question about my thesis and so on. In particular, there were an MVP named David Giacomi, I think, who was application development. And then I started to inform what I have to do to become an MVP, because at this stage, for me, was an MVP were like God, So I started to contribute in some website and so on, but I decided to translate from application development to dynamics when I met Giorgio Garcia-Herrera, that is an MVP from Italy, and it's my friend as well. Yeah, sure. And and we worked together in a project on Dynamics 365. I was in charge of an integration between Dynamics 365 and Exchange, and I think that this part of code and these tools was very appreciated by the community. And at this stage, they started to follow me and to suggest me as an MVP. it's I'm speaking about, I think, yes, 2 or 3 years ago, I started we founded XRM.net. It's a European community for Dynamics 365, and I wrote a lot of articles here, and I started to go to conference like a speaker, and I received the award 2 years ago. I was very happy because for me it's a very, very great achievement. And I started to meet people like you and other MVP. And last year was my first time in Redmond. And I had the opportunity to meet amazing people.
Excellent, excellent. So, if you're not doing work-related stuff, what do you do for, hobbies and or sports, that type of thing?
What do you mean in particular?
Are you into diving and flying drones?
This is my hobby, but consider that at the beginning of this year I started a new code named Local. So I have very, very short time for a hobby and for my family as well, because when you start a new code, you have to be full dedicated to this activity. But I love tennis, I love diving for sure, and I love to, yeah.
So just tell us a bit about your diving. I've got my open water ticket. What have you done on the diving side of things? How many dives? Where's your favorite dive location?
Yeah, I started in Maldives, I think 8 years ago with basic level 18 meters deep. But then then I increased my level to 30 meters. And 3 years ago, the last step is 40 meters. That is is advanced deep dive, and I get an achievement as well for nitrox. That is specific combination between oxygen and other compounds. So I think that for recreative. Recreative is the not professional level, but recreative I reached the maximum level, and I think that the best place is Sharm el-Sheikh. I prefer Sharm to Maldives. It seems strange, but I don't know why. Probably it's just lucky that I was able to see some kind of fish that I didn't see in Maldives. So if I have to choose a place, I will choose Sharm el-Sheikh.
Oh, okay. So and with some of the things when I was doing a bit of research on you do you like to fly like quadcopters, DJI drone, or something like this?
But drone, something like this?
Yeah, with a camera on it, and you fly it.
Yeah, but I've never.
Oh, you've never flown one?
No.
Oh, I saw some footage on one of your sites, and I thought perhaps you were the one that was flying the drone.
Okay.
Taking photos and stuff with it.
Underwater, you mean?
No, I don't know that it was on your work site. It might have been on Facebook or something like this.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Yeah, this is a drone. It's not what. Yeah, but it was just for my friend that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but it's amazing this kind of drone because you can. They have a distance of 2 kilometers, so and but just 15 minutes of battery duration, so very short. But it's amazing the distance that they can reach and the speed that they can reach, because you can reach something like 70 kilometers per hour. And I assure you that it's not easy to drive this kind of stuff. But they are amazing on the quality as well of the image and the video, because it's a 4K, yeah.
I was looking at your website, and I noticed that you're doing a lot with artificial intelligence and AI, and you have a quote on there that says, "Artificial intelligence is the new electricity."
Nowadays artificial intelligence is everywhere. A lot of people speak about artificial intelligence, and when we started on Lowell, we decided that artificial intelligence has to be one of the main drivers inside our company. That's why we decided to introduce a lot of very skilled people from artificial intelligence, and for sure you have to introduce mathematicians, because behind artificial intelligence there is very, very deep mathematicians, and we are working on different areas, starting from chatbot, but we are recognized to have developed a chatbot able to follow you in the contents of the conversation. And the amazing thing is that the chatbot is able to remember about you. So when you try to speak with the chatbot, in our case, the name is Anna, you can say something to the chatbot, for example, remember that I love these kind of things. And then you can connect later after 1 week, 1 month, and the chatbot is remember your interaction and is able to learn from you. So the same chatbot speak in different way based on the person that is in front of in front of her. I like to call her because for me it's Anna. So yeah,
that's interesting because I have things like a Google Home and Alexa and things like this, and one of the things I find that they're not intelligent enough. I wish I could give them a lot of information to remember about me. So I've got 10 years of email. I've got file systems, digital file systems full of everything I've done for over 10 years. I've got a massive amount of data about every part of my life, and I would just love to feed it all into that system, and then have the intelligence run across it, and them know exactly a digital twin of me, but that's private. It only works on my behalf, not on behalf of any other company. So how far away you think AI is going to be there?
The best approach for artificial intelligence is when you have to analyze a huge amount of data, for sure, and to get correlation between data, because nowadays we have a lot of information. We generate more data in the last 5 years than in the history of the humanity. Yeah, but a lot of information are hidden inside of this data. They are just simple data, but there are information inside, and artificial intelligence is able to evaluate all the correlation between these data and to take off some relevant information. And I think that the chatbot is just an interface for artificial intelligence. I don't want to focus on chatbot when I'm speaking about artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence is much more. It's a game changer in our life, because we have the opportunity to leverage the data that we have collected for a lot of years in the past.
So when an organization comes to you and says, listen, we're interested in exploring the whole area of AI, what's the type of journey that you take them on to kind of understand their data and then decide what you're going to do from an AI perspective with them?
This is a very good question. At the beginning, we have to speak. This is a question that we often ask to our customer. And the first one is, tell me about your issue, the issue that you have in your company. So this is the starting point, because we have to solve some issue at the beginning. So mainly they can tell us about production issue, finance issue, and other things. And we can say, okay, we can try to approach these issues at the beginning, and for sure then we can you can focus on different topics inside your organization, but before we have to solve this issue. And that's most important, not for me, like a supplier of artificial intelligence, because I know that I have to drive an holistic and strategic view of artificial intelligence inside your company. It's just for you as a customer. You need to have an action that has an impact on your organization soon. So that's why I'm asking you about an issue, because I can demonstrate you that artificial intelligence is able to solve an issue. And this action generates trust on me and on artificial intelligence. In the second step, I can start and can try to apply artificial intelligence in a strategic way inside your organization. Okay, when you apply artificial intelligence in a strategic way in your organization, you don't usually have an impact on short term, but in the medium term, maybe you can have the effect on 2 years, on something like this. And this is not very good for the first approach to a customer. You give me money, but you have the result in 2 years. So in a topic that is is a cutting edge, so it's very hard for a customer to trust you. So I prefer to start from give me a problem. I can demonstrate soon that I can solve the problem, this specific problem with artificial intelligence. Then when I have trust, I can really apply artificial intelligence in your organization.
So, wow. So, and just when it comes to the data side of that, do you have a requirement to have a large data set to really start getting intelligence right?
Yeah, because nowadays there are a lot of tools and frameworks that help you to train your artificial intelligence module without the company data. It means that you are able to learn to teach your system with data that are in different locations. There are some companies that provide you just a lot of quantity of data for training your system, and then you can take your system and plug in inside the company without asking the company to provide you a lot of data that probably they don't have, because they have never think to implement an IT system based on data. I mean, they don't have a data warehouse. They don't have standardized data. They probably have a mess in terms of data inside the company. This is my experience. So that's why it's very important to have the possibility to learn and to teach the system outside the organization.
So where do you see the integration between business applications or dynamics and AI coming into play?
Yes, we are working on it. We are working in some specific module, some specific plugin for artificial intelligence. And I know, Cortana should be an example of artificial intelligence applied to Dynamics 365. Now the project is on hold, yes, yeah. But we are working on artificial intelligence plugins specific for each company, and based obviously on Dynamics 365 for sales, for field service, for finance operation.
Okay, so what are you using on the back end then? Are you doing that all in Azure, or have you explored things like what Google have with DeepMind, or what are your thoughts there?
So mainly we are building all our framework and plugin on Azure, but we have just for some things, some specific action we are based on TensorFlow from Google. But I think that Azure is a very, very good platform to leverage artificial intelligence because it's very intuitive. It gives you possibility to start from a framework, so you have not to start from scratch. But from some specific stuff, we have to use TensorFlow.
With your job, are you traveling a lot for work? Or does it keep you pretty much, located in where your offices, or are you out and about a lot? And what type of markets do you serve? Are you just in Switzerland or Italy or all over?
I think that I'm always on the plane. I'm arranging my bag to live all around Europe for now. Yes, I was in Zurich and going to Geneva, Lisbon, Barcelona, Madrid, Croatia, so Amsterdam. The business plan for this year and next year is mainly Italy and Switzerland, but we have already approached a country like UK, and we started the project in United States, 1 hour away from New York. Yes, the beginning of this month. So we are growing very fast.
Wow, that's very good. That's very good. And kind of, how are these organizations, particularly the ones quite a distance away from you, like the one in the US? How are they finding you? How are you getting the word out there, and they're discovering you?
The culture of MVP for sure, yes, helped me in terms of dynamics. But for artificial intelligence, I think that the market is appreciating our work because in some cases, some company after vendor selection, based on a big, huge company like IBM, they tested IBM, Watson, and other big competitors, but they choose us. I think that because we are, flexible, agile, we can supply exactly the requirements. So for sure, for artificial intelligence at this stage, we are approaching just a multinational or big company because the pricing is much more than a Dynamics 365 project, something like this. So for artificial intelligence, our target now is a big company.
So, how have you found, becoming an MVP affected your career? Has it had any effect or not at all?
Yeah, I think the two most important things in my career has been MVP title and MBA as well. Because as an MVP, I can enforce and demonstrate my technical knowledge, but with an MBA degree, I can trust and demonstrate my ability to drive business, and they are completely different, because yes, one thing is technical aspect, and one thing is to drive a company into the business. They are completely different. I think that the market is appreciating this capability. So
yeah, that's interesting. So the two things, the MVP and so your strong technical background as well as your MBA has kind of allowed you to really launch your business effectively. We're drawing to our time here, and I've just got a couple of quick fire questions. What's the best purchase you've made under $100?
I think the Fitbit, the Fitbit, yeah, is a little bit under $100, but it's very good because it's able to monitor my sleep, and I was sleeping very, very few hours last time, so it can give me just the quality of the sleep,
Nice. Another one here. How do you define success?
I think that success is the ability to do in your life what you really love.
Nice.
Because I think this is the success. And because if you do what you really love, and you are passionate about the things that you usually do in your life, then you can reach other goals like money, like other stuff. But at the base, you have to do what you really love in your life. This is yes.
So actually, just one thing that popped into my mind is, why did you choose to set up your business in Switzerland rather than Italy?
Consider that I worked in Switzerland before to start my company, so I can appreciate the environment that is a little bit different from Italy. In Switzerland, is all business is efficient. You have no bureaucracy. You can start a company in 1 week. So they are very, very business driven.
It's funny because all the Dynamics MVPs that I'm aware of, bar one, and that was a former MVP in the Dynamics space, that are Italian, they're either working for companies outside Italy or their company does most of their business outside Italy.
It's a good question. I don't know. It's strange. Because Switzerland is very strange because mainly, as you say, there are 3 areas: France, Germany, and Italy. And the most of the business is on the German and the French as well. Zurich and Geneva. And I'm working very well with people. And another MVP was Stefano Tempesta, that is based on Zurich.
Italy is still my favorite country in the world. I've been to a few. I love it. And particularly, Bellagio, Lake Como, I want to go back there some more. I love that place.
Tell me when you will be in Como.
Yes, yeah. And we'll see. Hey, Marco, it's been great chatting with you. If people want to connect with you online, where can they find you?
Yes, you can contact me on LinkedIn. It's Marco Farina, my name. You can find it. You can write me on my email, marco.farina@local.com. I have also Twitter, but I don't use it very often. It's Farina Marco, I think, the opposite.
Hey, full show notes can be found at nz365guide.com/44. Thanks for listening and see you next week.